The biggest news out of here today was the rollover by Labor on the Morrison government tax package, which you've just heard about and you've heard the PM. In the end, Labor had to vote it through because they couldn't be seen, not for years, to be seen to vote against a grand in the hand for workers. Now, the main reason for the government's success was the coalition, unofficial coalition, of two Senator Alliance senators and Jacqui Lambie. And one Stirling Griff from Senator Alliance joins me now in the studio. Senator, good evening.
Ex-Senator, it's a pleasure to be here.
It is good to have you here. Now, it's a big day. I mean, it's really the first real day of sitting today after the Hawke tribute and the opening, etc., etc. And you two guys and Jacqui Lambie, I mean, you were the kingmakers.
Well, I think it really came together very well for us. I mean, we caught up with Jacqui a number of weeks ago. We felt that because we're both passionate about our respective states, that there was an opportunity for us to get together on a lot of key pieces of legislation. And, it's worked out really well for us, I think.
Yeah, well, I did send a cheeky tweet saying, ScoMo, if I'd have got re-elected, you'd have had your numbers, because the day after the budget, I thought, pass it. And, I mean, the thing about finally getting down to a 30% tax rate is good. I mean, that helps the economy.
Look, I'll agree with you. And the economy at the moment is very sluggish. And it's very important to have the stimulus. And, the best way to do that was to give people extra money in their pay packet. So, look, we were always supportive of the complete package, but what we were concerned about was money being given by one hand and taken away with the other.
With increased power prices.
Absolutely. And that's been a big issue. And so we've, over the last 3 or 4 weeks, we've been talking to government about other options to actually lower the price of gas, which impacts dramatically on electricity costs and dramatically on industry as such. So we're quite pleased with the way that's going. It's going to take, well, a few weeks to a few months before they announce all of the proposed policy changes, but it will bring about a positive result and mean that the money is not going to, come in one hand and go out the other.
Yeah, well, I mean, I thought it was weird when the Labor honchos were saying things like, well, wait and see what the crossbench does. I mean, you're the opposition. That was a bit bizarre.
I know. Look, I agree with you. And in the end, Labor folded. So, I mean, why didn't they just get on with it in the first case?
Yeah, that's true. Now, I read and I saw that you had been down to Tasmania and caught up with Jacqui Lambie. And I recall several years ago when Nick Xenophon was still your party leader, I think the Adelaide paper's advertiser called us the Four Amigos, because sometimes three of you and me would get together on something. Sure. So is that the sort of unofficial liaison you're going to have with Jacqui in the months and years ahead?
Look, I think so. I mean, there are a lot of commonality with our positions on key policies. And, we're sharing a lot of information amongst each other, and it really is coming together quite well.
Do you think this is sort of shut out Pauline Hanson today? Because if they get you three and they get Cory Bernardi, they don't need one.
Well, look, as we know, Cory is going to move on. So, I mean, Cory really is a Liberal vote. So, yes, the Libs need to have 3 to get it across the line.
Yeah, but the way it works, if Cory retires, say, in November,
well, it'll go back to
it goes back to the Libs because he was elected as a Lib and they get an extra one.
So you may as well say the Libs have got 36 votes.
Yeah.
And so they need 39 to pass anything. So they need 3. So it's got to be a combination of 3 made out of either the 2 Senator Alliance, Jacqui Lambie, or 2 One Nation. So you're right, it's a very interesting situation. I mean, Jacqui, we've got a good relationship with Jacqui, and I would say that there's a more likelihood that perhaps that trio, rather than the Four Amigos, will come together more often than not on key pieces of legislation.
Well, sometimes in the last Parliament, I think we were regarded, the crossbench was regarded as the bar scene in Star Wars, a fairly motley crew. Yeah. But it'll be easier for the government to handle this lot, because you lot, sorry, well, not being insulting.
You don't have the same radical kind of influence that was there before. And I mean, Fraser Anning was very polarising. Almost every, as you know, time motions are up. There was some racist motion of some particular kind. So that element is a lot weaker than what it was, back in your day. So I think it's going to be a far more responsible Senate. And
workable Senate.
Far more workable, yes. But you've got a large number of new people there. And just looking around today, and just the feeling that you get is that you've actually got a lot of the people who have been there for many years that were a bit sour, and you know who those people were.
So what happened to Ian McDonald?
Exactly. you know, you don't have that feeling there anymore. And I think it's really going to be a very positive thing for the country.
Well, it's a good start for the government, because this was their main. Some people said it was their only election promise or election policy, and they've won on it, and it should do well. And I agree with you that and sadly, some people talk the economy down further, almost wishful thinking that it's getting bad, but it isn't as good as they hoped it was. One thing I was talking to David Spears about today, the way Labor kept saying the final stage 3 of these tax cuts, going back to them, the tax cuts, how dare they, how can they be in noddy land and say what will happen in 5 years' time? But treasurers, Wayne Swan, anybody, even the Liberal treasurers, they predict what's going to happen in umpteen years' time. They have to take a punt on where they think the economy will be. So how is that any different?
Well, you're right. And I mean, you know, the projections still look good for the coming years, even though the economy itself is sluggish to a certain extent because of iron ore prices in particular, which are kind of helping things along in at least the short to medium term. But because it is 5 years down the track, any government worth its salt, if they have to change things, they can.
Yeah.
So it's not a big issue, because you've got 2 election cycles before it actually comes.
Well, that's the other point, when they were saying, well, what will happen down the track? I was like, well, throw it in there, let the government wear it, and if they stuff it up, then say, we told you so, and it'll make it an election issue for them. But
Darren, we needed you back there today.
I'd have liked to have been there. And look, it's good to work with you. It was good to work with you in the past, and look forward to following you in the future.
And good luck with this venture.
Thanks, matey. Thank you.